3, 2, 1.
Drop it! Drop it!
This is the most popular rifle in America. It's the AR-15.
I got my weapon.
We're just so delighted you're a gun guy.
I cannot believe I'm shooting on the Hickok 45 range. What a pleasure. When you hear people talk about gun control, they're probably talking about the AR-15.
Yes, we're gonna take your AR-15.
It's the most popular rifle in America.
This is what democracy looks like!
And it's the #1 target of anti-gun activists.
The NRA has got to go! The NRA has got to go!
What is the AR-15? How does it work? Why do people buy it? We began our investigation into this with Hickok 45, one of the most popular gun reviewers on YouTube.
Pop that cowboy.
So we're standing, as I know some of our viewers know, on the single most famous gun range in the United States is where we are right now, and it's your range, the Hickok 45 range. And if you have an internet connection, the internet is a large appliance basically that brings information into your home, you're familiar with this range. If we could just get a shot of this. I swear most of our viewers have seen this many times before, but this is the Hickok 45 range. Will you show us how this works on your range?
Okay, and what was your name again?
Sean Hannon.
Let me take out one of these orange 2-liters. Woo!
Nice.
It's nice. It's unsafe, so
perfect.
Shoot something.
Thank you. Woo! As I slip in the brass. The AR-15 is a civilian sporting rifle. It is not an assault rifle. It is not a machine gun. Like many hunting rifles, the AR-15 fires 1 round every time the trigger is pulled. Of the more than 400 million privately owned firearms in the United States, more than 20 million are based on the AR-15. Hickok, what do you have there?
This is one of my more recent purchases in terms of AR-15s. You have an AR-15, right?
I have several.
Yeah.
But tell us what this, so this, for our viewers who haven't seen it, is what politicians are referring to when they talk about weapons of war.
We should take weapons of war.
Weapons of war?
Making sure that a weapon of war, you have somebody with a weapon of war.
They're just a semi-automatic rifle. The same technology has been around for 100 years, over 100 years.
These so-called weapons of war are not issued by the military, and they are rarely used in homicide. According to FBI crime statistics, in fact, homicide victims are 5 times more likely to be murdered with a knife than with a rifle of any kind. The odds of being killed by an AR-15 are even smaller.
It's really a testimony to people's responsibility. I know there's some irresponsible people in the world,
yes,
but the number of accidents is not really any greater than it is.
This is called a .223 round. It's the most common round fired from an AR-15. As you can see, it's small. The bullet is actually .22 caliber. AR-15s are chambered in at least 9 different calibers, however, and most of them are legal for hunting. The AR-15, despite what you hear, is very often used as a hunting rifle.
It's just a very popular rifle. Low recoil, fun to shoot. A lot of hog hunting goes on with these.
Feral hog hunting is an important part of American agriculture, and the AR-15 is extremely well suited for the task. Wild hogs tear up crop fields, they destroy animal habitat, they pollute water systems. In the end, they cost farmers more than $1.5 billion a year. We sent our producers to Abilene, Texas to meet ranchers who use the AR-15 to protect their cattle and their crops.
How you guys doing? Hey, how's it going? Charlie. Good to meet you, Nick. Tom, nice to meet you, Charlie. Hey, good to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hey, how's it going? Thank you so much. 35 pounds. That's a 35-pound coyote? Yeah. Did you shoot that one? Uh-huh. Coyotes are a nuisance. You got to get rid of them. So today we are looking for some pigs as the main target. Potentially some coyotes, bobcats, fox. So this is an AR-10 and 6.5 Creedmoor is the caliber. It's great for long distance shots, further than most people can shoot.
5 feet right.
We don't want these animals to suffer. You ready? Small plate. But, you know, we do need to eliminate them because they're causing a lot of damage. Impact, got it.
Where are we going now?
We are going up on top of that mountain. See, we'll have a good look at the whole valley below us. Pretty much, I guess the saying goes, if it hops, it drops. But in the pig's case, as it's going through the brush, we'll be able to see them. So we got a pretty significant hike. We got provisions, we got our pack, we got our water, we got our snacks. Most importantly, we have our AR. The AR-15 is commonly referred to as an assault rifle. It is not. Got a nice sweat on after that hike. There's 2 pigs to the left of the 900-yard feeder. They're at 918 yards.
There he is. Just waiting on this pig to come out from under the feeder so we don't damage it if we miss, or even if we hit it and there's a ricochet. You can almost bracket his head between bullseye and a 1/2 mil. He's a little bit bigger. I'm ready.
All right. Okay. Go.
Big loop.
You all ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is a different world that a lot of folks don't see, and when they see it, they don't understand it because they don't live it. It's a necessity to do what we do for the livelihood of farmers and ranchers, and they can pass it on to the next generation and keep it alive.
As the country becomes more volatile and dangerous, many Americans are buying the AR-15 for personal protection. To get a sense of how useful the gun can be for self-defense,
boom, boom.
Our producers met firearms experts.
If you're looking to defend your home, you can always use a pistol or an AR-15. My name is Jeff Cotto.
I'm Zach King.
We're from Operational Defense Institute, and we teach people how to stay alive.
One of the things about a pistol that a lot of people don't understand, you have to be extremely fundamentally accurate with it. Grip matters, your stance matters, your trigger control matters. Whereas you can pick up an AR platform, this is where my pistol grip is, my hand is generally going to go here. It's a much more intuitive platform.
There's more room for error with a pistol than a rifle, hands down. This is a drill that represents multiple threats. All right, so that drill we just ran was definitely a more advanced drill. Now we're gonna go into more basic drills for the novice shooter. It's called reflective fire drills. You acquire the target, you have someone in charge, and they say, ready, up. Ready mean, hey, there may be a threat out there. Up mean, yes, that's a threat. Boom, boom, engage the target. Ready, up. Ready, up. Cease fire. Those are real basic drills that you can do and work on. All right, now we're gonna do some night vision drills. Lights! All right, so we're walking over here. We're doing a night vision drill, and it's a walk and shoot drill. On you, Zach.
Ready, up!
What we're using to aim is a PEC-15 laser aiming device. It has an IR flood and an IR laser. The flood illuminates the target so you can get positive identification, and the laser is actually where your round is striking.
In 1994, the Congress passed a so-called assault weapons ban. It prohibited the purchase of firearms like the AR-15. Research commissioned by the Department of Justice found that, quote, the ban's effects on gun violence are likely to be small at best and perhaps too small for reliable measurement. That ban expired in 2004. Today, AR-15s are legal in most states. The government, however, still restricts actual assault weapons, such as the M16 and the Uzi.
Let's try the full auto, Tucker. You want to shoot that one?
Now this is a military rifle.
This, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Very much like it's an M16, A1. We have some ammo. You want me to shoot it first? You want to shoot it first?
No, I want you to.
Okay, I'll just take a couple of shots. I won't hog the ammo. I think I'll smoke a pot. Let's go full auto. What the heck? Does that look like fun?
Your brass just hit me in the chest.
Did it? Here you go. It's on safe.
Fantastic.
Take out a pot if you
want. And the selector here, it's just funny to have a rifle that has a selector that goes
really?
Not just to semi, which they normally do,
Yeah.
safe to semi, but goes all the way.
Go ahead. just avoid the steel.
Yo, I will definitely avoid the steel. That's not a tight group.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Got them all on the paper. That's good. That's good, man. Send that boy to Vietnam.
In states where they're legal, buying an AR-15 from a gun store requires passing a federal criminal background check. Unlike what you may have heard, AR-15s are not used in the majority of mass shootings. But that has not stopped anti-gun politicians and their allies in the media from pretending otherwise.
To gun owners out there who say, well, a Biden administration means they're going to come for my guns.
Bingo, you're right if you have an assault weapon.
Do you believe in the mandatory buyback of quote-unquote assault weapons?
I do believe that we need to do buybacks, and I'll tell you why. They are weapons of war.
I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
You hear the phrase assault rifle, what does that mean?
Got me? Well, it should really refer to a fully automatic, rifle. I have a problem with the word assault. This could be an assault if I hit you with it, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's assault is an action more so than an item in my mind. But there are firearms that are really labeled as assault, firearms, military firearms, fully auto.
But for the purposes of describing civilian firearms in the United States, it sounds like the term assault rifle is not an actual term. It's a polemic. It's a kind of propaganda.
It's a political thing, right? If you can term this an assault rifle or a pocket revolver, an assault revolver, and it just puts a stigma, attached to it.
States like New York and California have instituted their own gun control measures that prohibit many of the AR-15's purely cosmetic features, like pistol grips and flash suppressors.
Yeah,
what is a flash suppressor?
It just reduces the flash signature when you're shooting.
Yes.
It doesn't blind you as much or kick up as much dust if you're down low and that sort of thing. And of course it has the famous Tucker Carlson barrel shroud on it.
Barrel shroud.
Guns that
Hickok 45 is referring to Congresswoman Carolyn McCarthy of New York, who famously didn't understand the firearm she was trying to ban.
Do you know what a barrel shroud is? Time. I actually don't know what a barrel shroud is.
Okay, because it's in your legislation.
It's a shoulder thing that goes up.
No, it's not. So a barrel shroud makes the rifle more deadly, right?
Yeah, really, shrouds that barrel. A lot of what people come up with that do not know firearms, they just do not like them, they hate them, and so they're looking for reasons to hate them. They don't know anything about the cartridges. A bullet is dangerous, let's face it. A hammer, a chainsaw, a ladder, a car, they're potentially dangerous.
Yes.
Like newsflash, you have to be very careful with a firearm.
The things that you've just pointed to that are banned, that are actually written into laws in many states, are for the most part cosmetic features.
Mostly cosmetic.
The government doesn't keep track of which firearms are used for personal protection, and of course the national media doesn't cover it. So we sent producers to Tennessee to track down a citizen who used the AR-15 to protect himself and his family. He was confronted by an armed fugitive at a campsite in Colorado. Here's his story.
Hi, my name is Wes Maddox. In 2018, I was involved in a self-defense shooting. This would have been my vehicle at the time, where we had our vehicle parked. We were staying in this camper right here. This would be the suspect's vehicle. He came into the campsite and out of the passenger side window, he jammed an AK-47 in my face, which was literally like that close to my face, and demanded water. And I backed up and I said, okay, what's going on? And he said he was running from the police, or he said the law. And I backed up a little bit more. I said, you need some food to go with that too in case you need to get out? And he goes, no, just give me some water. I think that threw him off long enough for me to be able to get to my weapon, which I have inside my camper here. I'll show you where I kept my weapons at while I was camping.
Let's go inside.
I gave my wife my handgun. I always keep my AR-15 sitting right here by the door, so it's ready and accessible. That's where it was sitting. And while we're traveling, I carried all my other weapons in this drawer.
And it's normal for you to carry a gun?
Yes, because this was our house. We were living in this as our house, so. I got my I gave her a pistol and told her to get on the floor. I got my weapon. I came out the door, circled behind my vehicle. I closed the door so she would be safe. So I approached my vehicle from the rear. I approached him. I yelled, drop it, drop it! He shot off a round past me. I went behind the truck. Came out on the other side. I came up behind him after he shot the first round. He was trying to keep a location on me again. Challenge him as he's driving away. And then he had a wreck, and I went and took care of him. We didn't know at the time that they had already been chasing this man from Aurora, Colorado, 50 miles away, where he had carjacked someone, shot into multiple vehicles, shot into 3 campers before he got to us. We found out that he had poured a 45 to a man's head, pulled the trigger, and the gun didn't go off. And then he came to our campsite where he encountered me. And I just wanted to protect my wife and keep her safe, so that's why I did what I did.
And after he was shot, what happened?
The police officers came up, they covered me while I drew the weapons out of the window, and then me and the other officer, we drugged the suspect to the back of the vehicle. We assessed him where he had 1 bullet in the head, 1 in the chest, 1 in his arm, which his arm was badly mangled from the bullet, and we put a tourniquet on his arm, and we put a sucking chest wound on his chest because he was bleeding out his chest really bad. And that we are credited with saving his life because the med-light people called back and said whoever put the tourniquet on saved this man's life. So, and at the time we did not know that all this other stuff had transpired at the time. So,
how did it feel to shoot someone?
Very, very awakening, because you know, all the time in the military and the police, I never shot anyone, and I was also trained to be a medic. So I'm trained to save lives, not to take lives. So. It's why I went from one mode to the other mode. I went from disarming him to saving him. And that's just what I've been trained to do. So I would never want to take anybody's life just for no reason. You know, it was unnecessary. But thank God I have my weapons that I have.
Before leaving Hickok 45's range, we couldn't resist firing one more assault rifle, an actual weapon of war. This one's made in Israel. You might recognize it. This looks familiar, probably will to a lot of our viewers. Tell us what this is.
I'm not really sure. No, it's a mini, it's a mini Uzi.
Okay.
And it was made in 1984, this particular one. And this is a fully automatic firearm.
Okay. So this is when you hear people say machine guns, that's what this is.
Either submachine gun or machine pistol, a lot of different, you know, technical words for it. The ATF classification is what machine gun, you know, because it fires, you know, more than 1 shot with 1 pull of the trigger. So this is what a lot of people think so many semi-automatics are, you know. Or what's the new phrase? Full automatic or whatever you want.
Weapon of war.
Yeah.
What is this can at the end?
That is it's a suppressor. This one happens to be a Banish 45 is a model. And it just reduces the sound on it, which is nice. It's easy on the ears, you know?
Yes.
And they're really, really handy. It doesn't turn you into a James Bond assassin or anything.
But it reduces hearing damage.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
this is a magazine filled, this is 9mm round,
9mm, yes. Okay. The Uzi generally fires a 9mm. There's some that were, I think, chambered 45 and that kind of thing, but most of them are 9mm, the mini Uzi and the full-size Uzi. There's even a smaller one. But yeah, 9mm, it's a classic firearm. They can be acquired if you go through the paperwork and the extensive background check. It might take a year or even more to get approved. And but in most states, a civilian can own one of these. You just have to go through that long process, have no record.
Right.
And there's almost no crimes committed with these. You know, they seem scary to say, oh my gosh, a fully automatic firearm, but there's almost no crimes committed with them. You know.
Because they're
Just
very
people like
hard
you
to
and
get.
me, it's hard to get. And You know, well, but most people are good people. Well, it really is.
Yes.
You know. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
Are you ready to go?
Perfect. Starting with an open bolt. The Uzi, it's fun to shoot. But like the M16, it's essentially unavailable to most Americans. It's extremely expensive, it's heavily regulated. Very few are in civilian hands. Almost none are used in crimes. The AR-15, by contrast, is everywhere. It's the most popular rifle in America, and there's a reason for that. It's suitable for hunting, for target shooting, for home defense. There's a reason people buy it.